I'm going to show you guys the best spots to land on World's Edge in Apex Legends Mobile for advanced players and beginners. For the low risk, we want to definitely go to Lava Fissure. Lava Fissure is no man's land. One of the reasons is because it's a really awkward place to land as the floor is completely lava. So if you fall down, you will actually take damage. So that's really inconvenient and just a bit awkward. There's also not a ton of loot at Lava Fissure because you only have this narrow path with a few pods in there with a couple bits of loot. There, don't get me wrong, there is some loot and your squad will be able to at least get a weapon or two and be able to loot up in some form, but it's definitely not going to be a hot drop, so you guys would definitely be safe dropping at Lava Fissure. Next up on the low risk area, we have the Dome. Now the Dome is the most southern point of the map. I don't think I even dropped there this whole time playing in the closed betas. I played in like 2 or 3 of the closed betas for Apex Legends Mobile, and I don't think I dropped there once. Because it's down at the most southern point of the map, I think people just generally forget about it, but I think the tree is also a low risk area. When I was playing in the closed betas, I saw nobody land in the tree. The only people that were landing at the tree were bots, and honestly it hasn't got a ton of loot. There's only a few extra pods like the fissure, and you have that big ass tree in the way, and it's kind of just annoying to rotate around. It's not a very popular POI at all whatsoever, so that also takes things into account too. You might get a couple of squads in Thermal Station, and you'll definitely see some people in the Sorting Factory though, so you do have to be careful where you go next. Next up we have the medium risk. The first one that I've said is the Epicenter for a couple of reasons. The Epicenter has a vast open space and there's a load of different terrain levels on the map. One team can land at the top and you could go down to the bottom to get the loot bins, and then you're at a heavy disadvantage because they've got the high ground on you and you don't have many places to run or to even take cover, so you do have to be a bit careful with the Epicenter. It's also very close to Capital City, which is probably one of the most popular POIs in World's Edge, and that will definitely get a lot of squads dropping down on there. So next up I've chosen Skyhook because it's essentially the same as Capital City in terms of the amount of buildings and loot there, but it's just more on the top left side of the map, so it's not going to be as popular. Because it has so much more loot than all the other areas on the top left part of the map, people will land there if the trail line is going across the map in that direction. Next up we have the fuel depot. Now I was wondering if I should put this in the high risk or the medium risk, but I have decided to go for the medium risk. This area is slap bang in the middle of 3 very high risk areas in Apex Legends Mobile on World's Edge, so you do have to be careful when you go into this location. It's surrounded by Capital City, the Train Yard, and also Sorting Factory, which are the 3 most popular POIs on that map. You have to be careful with Fuel Depot as well because there's loads of different caverns and narrow paths that you can go to, which will go into the Train Yard, Capital City, or the Sorting Factory, so you can get hit at multiple angles as well. Because it's central to the map as well, you're also going to see a lot of people landing there. So next up we have Lava City for the medium risk areas, and I've said this because it's actually a very small area with not a whole lot of loot, so people will land there to loot up and quickly rotate to Sorting Factory to try and get some more kills. But people will have this in mind to land there, loot, and go over to Sorting Factory to try and pick up the stragglers and try and get some more points. And next up we have Refinery. Now you'd think Refinery might be a bit low key because it's kind of positioned out of the way, but same with the Lava City area. It's close to some more medium and high risk areas, so people will tend to land there, loot up, think that it's more of a safer bet, then go to the high risk areas and try and get those extra points. So people will be landing there because it's close to action. So now we are in the high risk area category, guys. We will start off with Capital City. Now, if you don't know about Capital City, it is probably the most popular point of interest on World's Edge. Just think of Tilted Towers in Fortnite. This place is just so packed every single time you go there. This is because of the huge area. It has so many buildings packed full of loot. It's the center of the map, so there's plenty of easy rotations to get to the circle, and there's one particular building in general with many zip lines attached to it with multi-layered structure to the buildings, so it's great for early fights and to show off your movement skills. I landed Capital City a lot during the closed beta, and I can honestly tell you that there was gunfights after gunfights after gunfights. Next up we have Sorting Factory, and this one's actually a bit different because there's tons of loot there but hardly any buildings. The buildings there are generally connected and are much bigger than the standard buildings that you would see at perhaps Capital City, so you're going to see multiple squads landing on the same building, which makes it pretty risky. Like Capital City, this place was very popular on the PC/console version, so I will expect a lot of people to go to the Sorting Factory as well. So the last high risk area for me for Apex Legends Mobile on World's Edge has to be the train yard. Now this area is actually very small but has a high amount of loot within it, so it's actually quite interesting to see because people will be coming down to try and loot up this area, but there's not a whole lot of places to go on the train yard. It's in a central location on the map, so once again easy for rotations to the circle, but it's also protected by the east and the south side by cliffs, so you won't have any issues people trying to shoot you from that direction. The only ways that you can obviously get through that is a very narrow paths, which are quite dangerous because they go to more dangerous / high risk areas on the map. Now the only ones I haven't mentioned are Drill Site, Thermal Station, Overlook and the Geyser. Now there is no particular reason for this, I just don't think that they are the most popular in each category, which is why I've kind of have left them out. And with that being said, that is the end of the video. If you found it helpful at all, please let me know in the comment section down below, and I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe too. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.